Hi guys, this is Philippe. I'm here with Angela and Lillian, the Dakila representatives in the United States, and we are here to share some really awesome information about our researchers. In the past days, we had a couple of, I wouldn't say expeditions, I would say a short trip to a specific Amazon region where we hired a company in order to scan the forest in specific coordinates that we provided them. The technology they're using, it's called LIDAR. It's LIDAR. It is a laser scanning technology that an airplane will fly over the forest, will beam a laser, and will scan the ground, identifying structures. Okay? It is the same technology that was used to discover Tikal, the Mayan capital in Guatemala, the lost Mayan capital in Guatemala. They use this very same technology. And we decided to start revealing Ratanabá.
E aí, pessoal, exclusivo. Quadros de Ratanabá, de uma das partes.
I think we've talked about it already with you guys about Ratanabá, which was the capital of the Muril civilization 250 million years ago. 250 million years ago, not thousand, million.
Wow.
Million years ago. And it's a huge complex in the Amazon. We know that Ratanabá is buried under the mud due to the several deluges that occurred, It's buried. And but the outskirts, if you will, some of its ruins are above ground. Our intention is to start showing the world, as we promised, these ruins. That's why we're using this technology, this laser scanning technology, so that we start showing you guys that we're not crazy. We're talking about something that is real, that is concrete. It's physical ruins that they have there. We have done several expeditions in the past. As a matter of fact, first time we went to the Amazon was in 2002, so 20 years ago. We have partnerships with several peoples there in the Amazon. We have 5 bases there. And we have been monitoring that territory for 20 years. Because our partners told about Ratanabá, the importance to the world of Ratanabá, not only to set the record straight, concerning humans, our real history, our real origin, but not only that, there's a practical reason for us to rediscover Ratanabá, if you guys will, because there are several artifacts there, intact artifacts from the Muril civilization that will change the way we live. The technology there will permit us to revolutionize, how we go about. That is the real reason why, many nations are, conspiring to occupy the Amazon. They are manufacturing this ridiculous allegations that we are burning the Amazon, something that nobody can do. We talked about in past videos. Our president, Urandi Oliveira, has done a video explaining this, why you simply cannot burn the Amazon. because of the humidity, the extreme humidity of the forest. It's like not a swamp, but it's a wet forest. And you have the rivers of the sky, as we say. They are huge. I would say, I wouldn't say clouds, but a very high humidity level in the skies that they form virtual sky rivers, as we say. So it is impossible. Many people talk about the Amazon without ever setting foot in the Amazon, so they don't know what you're talking about. And they use the well-known talking heads, like famous artists like DiCaprio, or that poor little girl there, Greta Thunberg, to talk about a reality they simply do not know. They are just reading a script. That's what they are doing. They're pawns, in this game. They're trying to manufacture a narrative that would convince the population that some kind of military action is necessary in the Amazon because, oh my God, God forbid, the Brazilians are burning the Amazon. This is not true. This is not real. Those that know the Amazon, and we do know the Amazon very, very well. We've been dealing there for the past 20 years with 5 bases, and we have communications from the locals there, all the info and stuff, plus the information we receive from our partners, from the 49 races. They are the ones that are guiding us there, because the Amazon, it's in Brazil, when you say Amazonia, it is a state, okay? But the Amazon forest comprises other states, englobes other states, like Pará, where today, Sunday, the 5th of June, our president and another researcher, Fernanda Lima, is right now there in Pará, preparing for a next expedition. They found interesting people that when they saw Dakila there, they know about what we do. They know that we are fully independent. We are not linked to any political, affiliation, nothing. We're totally apolitical. We are independent. And we are there in order to show the truth, the real truth, and the real importance of the Amazon. So these locals, they are beginning to reach out and tell us things, show us artifacts they found in the forest, show us interesting places that they do not tell anybody. Why? Because they are afraid. They are afraid of retaliation from various sources. Nobody wants the truth to come out. They want the population to think that the Amazon is the lungs of the world. Oh my God, it's necessary to preserve the forest because of global warming, because of the carbon dioxide. And this is BS, guys. Total BS. There's no such a thing as global warming as described. We've spoken about this several times. For many years actually, we've been telling people, guys, carbon dioxide, it's the food of the plants. The more, the better for the plants. Just visit a greenhouse. They have carbon generators. So that the plants will go faster. It's pathetic. This doesn't exist. They want to scare people in order to manipulate them and keep them away of the forest of the Amazon, so that they can try and locate the Ratanabá. Powers that be, the occult government, as we say, they know about Ratanabá. They've been trying to find it for many decades, but they cannot do it because there are technology there that impede that these people, get near it. In the past days, here in Brazil, we received a visit of Elon Musk promising to provide internet access to remote communities in the Amazon. Oh my God, how nice, using the technology of the Starlink, which is a farce. Starlink, as described by Elon Musk and his companies, is a farce. It's not that. It doesn't work like that, okay? It's something else. It's a whole different thing. We've spoken about it in the past, and you guys are going to realize it very soon. And he was here in Brazil. Oh my God, we're going to provide high-speed internet. Several of these communities do not even have electricity. It's ridiculous, you know. How are you going to turn on your computer without electricity? You know? So, and the interesting thing is that he mentioned openly, but of course, always under the guise of, you know, making a joke, you know, always disguising, you know, the information. And during this interview, it was an open interview. He had the president of Brazil beside him, Bolsonaro, and he would say, "Oh, maybe we can even find, you know, an ancient alien civilization in the Amazon." And
on the stars. I don't know, maybe we find ancient alien civilizations or something like that. Yeah. That'd be cool, hopefully. So
they always have to say, you know, what they plan to do. Always. They always do. But people do not believe them. That's the thing. People are so dumbed down, you know, concerning these subjects, you know. They are so out of the loop that they don't even know what they do not know. Noam Chomsky, you know, the MIT scholar, says it all the time. People, the population, does not know what they don't know. You know? So this is it, you know. They're looking for it. They're desperate. And in the past days also, in certain media channels, they begin putting out information about this LIDAR technology, this laser scanning technology, you know, in Bolivia, in the Bolivian Amazon and in other regions, looking for ancient ruins, you know. What are they trying to do? They are trying to, as we say in Portuguese, they are trying to dilute the impact of the news that Dakila is providing now. Because, okay, we're going to need a couple of weeks maybe to receive, you know, the data from the laser scanning, but we hired a private plane and we followed the plane that was scanning the forest, okay, that we hired also, so that we would document it.
Oi, pessoal. Voo em paralelo, registrando, fazendo um mapeamento de tudo que estamos encontrando aqui na Amazônia.
But what happened? We had a very interesting surprise, as if we did not know. We managed to film, you know, a part of the forest where you can already see, you know, signs of an ancient civilization, of roads, a web of roads, huge roads in the middle of nowhere. You guys are going to see the footage firsthand. Nobody has ever filmed it. Nobody. This is first-hand information.
Olá, bom dia, pessoal. Estamos aqui, ó, preparados, munidos de equipamentos. Vamos pegar 2 aviões, já vamos no segundo, registrando toda a movimentação do rastro. O pessoal vem no voo baixo, rasante, para fazer os ajustes finais. Vamos lá. Ratanabá, aí, ó. Vamos, com certeza, fazer exploração por terra. Maravilha. Coração da Amazônia, olha aí. Finalmente, vamos revelar. Coração da Amazônia, exclusivamente aí para a população brasileira, tá? Eu imagino o que tem embaixo. A natureza não trabalha com linhas retas. Essa simetria, com certeza, foi construída por uma situação muito antiga, muito antiga. Tá? Já dá para você imaginar o tamanho que pode existir aí embaixo para ser explorado. Nossa, é do Brasil.
Okay, and this is going to really, change everything, because as I think in some of my videos in my Portuguese channel, I spoke about the fact that the Amazon is not a natural forest; it's a planted forest. It's not natural. Why? Because before there were several civilizations. Not only the Muril. The Muril was the first one. The Muril civilization is still a mystery to us. Why? Because we know that they are linked to the 49-dimensional races. We know that because they tell us all the time. All this information we got from them. But as the MO of the 49, they always tell us, go out and do the research. They don't spoon feed the information. They make us work. They make us go out there and and look for it. That's how you learn. They want us to walk with our own feet. They're just sort of helping us. And they told us about the Muril civilization. The necessary info so far, we do not really know their origin, the purpose. They stayed for millions of years here. They built roads all over the world that converge to Ratanabá. Roads above ground and highly sophisticated underground tunnels. Some of these tunnels we found a few years ago in the occasion of one of our expeditions to a star fort in the middle of the Amazon forest called Príncipe da Beira, which is supposed to be a Portuguese fort, sure, built in the 16th century, 17th century, in the middle of the forest, the middle of nowhere, of course, and it's a star fort. Nobody knew about these underground galleries. We have material here, photographs, films. I'm going to show you some of these images. Nobody knew it. And we had the assistance of the Brazilian military. The Brazilian army had a local garrison there, and they helped us, and they didn't know about these tunnels. And we found there hundreds of artifacts. And I'm not talking about clay vases or, clay objects. I'm talking about highly sophisticated metal artifacts. More than 2,000 artifacts were found. Unfortunately, during those times, Brazil was ruled by a leftist, globalist government led by the corrupt Lula, that is cherished abroad, of course, because it's one of the globalist pawns. Again, guys, we are apolitical, but we got to denounce, who these crooks are, who the pawns of the globalists are. He's one of them. He's trying to come back now because it is a danger to the status quo, all these discoveries. And Bolsonaro is the type of president that would, encourage such endeavors, because he's looking for, the real truth. He's beginning to realize that there's something in the Amazon, very important. He's been telling people, about the Amazon, the importance of the Amazon, not only about minerals, about, gold, about riches, the Amazon's biodiversity. He's aware of it. And he's not a globalist pawn. Therefore, he would not hinder, his government would not hinder, all this, our efforts to show the population what's going on and what's in there, in the Amazon, to reveal Ratanabá to the world. When I say Ratanabá, it's not only the city, it's the whole complex. It's a huge, huge, huge area. And around the Ratanabá complex, we can also find Anunnaki ruins. We're also going to show that. The Anunnakis, they occupied the perimeter of Ratanabá. Of course, 450,000 years ago, much more recent. The Ratanabá was already ruins, but they could not get hold of Ratanabá either. I have to remind you guys that the technology gap between the Anunnakis and the Muril and the 49 is huge, huge. But that was their first settlement. Many people think that when the Anunnaki came down, they came down and established themselves in Chaldea, Mesopotamia, parts of Turkey, that area there in the Middle East, west of Persia, Iran, if you will. That's not correct. They landed down here in Brazil, in the Amazon. Their first base was there. But they had also bases in Africa. They had bases in the Middle East. But nobody would ever talk about Anunnaki ruins in South America. That's going to be a novel thing. But we're going to show you guys. That's why, it's going to be something revolutionary, concerning archaeology, our history, anthropology. It's going to be a total revolution. And it's going to show you guys that we have been lied to systematically. We have been lied to. As I say all the time, we live in a matrix, a manufactured matrix, a manufactured world with fake history, with fake science. When I say fake, I say that it is a model built, manufactured, constructed, to sort of work in this fake reality that they created. I'm not talking about virtual, because it's concrete, This world we live in, it's material, It's concrete, it's third dimensional. But it's a lie. It's a huge lie, And we're going to begin to deconstruct this lie. When we released the first documentary about the convex Earth, the real shape of the Earth and all that, many people, oh my God, this is crazy, flat Earth, flat Earth. First of all, it's convex on the continents and flat in the waters. We've proved with scientific experiments. It cannot be denied. Of course, they're not going to like it because we're beginning to deconstruct their lies. Ratanabá is going to be just a piece, but it's going to be so huge because of all the physical evidence that's there in the Amazon. It's going to overwhelm those that are trying to debunk us. They have been trying to debunk us for the past 25 years. They haven't achieved this goal, They haven't. And it's going to be really something completely, I would say, it's like a science fiction coming true. even for us that we were aware of it, of this situation, in the conversations with the partners, Let me remind you guys, physical, verbal, face-to-face, It's a totally different MO. This is very important. It makes all the difference. We're not talking about channeling information. We're not talking about telepathic, messages. We're talking about physical, verbal, face-to-face conversations, filmed, recorded, with several people listening. This is the MO of the partners that permitted us to achieve all that we're achieving. They are guiding our research. And Ratanabá, really, this is going to change everything. It will be impossible to debunk, impossible to deny. And people are going to go, why have they lied to us? So we are getting where we wanted, to demonstrate that we are being lied to. We have been living in this fake, fabricated reality. It's a real world, but it's a fabricated one. We are slaves within a system headed by the Anunnaki brothers, if you will. For the past 14,000 years, because their power consolidated, their control consolidated after the last deluge. Before that, the reality was a little different, but it's not the purpose here to discuss this. It's interesting that nobody ever talked about it. I think you guys, especially those that they are, that they like the UFO phenomena, that they have been following the UFO phenomena for the past years, all these contactees, messages. Nobody ever talked about this global. I wouldn't have to say global because there's no globe, but let's say a world civilization as important as the Muril. They were the first world civilization that left several megalithic structures spread all over the world. And their main one, it's in the Amazon. Nobody ever talked about it. How come? Nobody ever talked about the convex Earth. Nobody. It's interesting that they always, providing, sort of harmless, messages, appeasing messages, for the sheep to be relaxed, calm, love is everything, It's another technique to appease the population, like religions, like, several others, to control, to appease, to manipulate, like our economic system, everything. They are all devised to keep us happy in the coral.
Oh, that is very interesting. From the video, watching the video that you guys did there, flying over the Amazon, scanning with the LiDAR technology.
Yes.
The 2 airplanes, amazing.
Yes.
And are those squares that look like perfectly shaped and huge?
Yes.
The Muril seems to be very advanced in technology, right?
Yes, they are very advanced, but we don't know. We have asked many times the partners, how advanced are they? Well, they just say they are highly advanced. You're going to see it when you reach Ratanabá. There you're going to find incredible technology, intact artifacts, intact flying machines, and other things that the partners tell us that will allow us to change the status quo, to change how we live. We will be able to use this technology to improve, to give comfort to humanity, to protect humanity, to provide abundance to humanity. When we say abundance, we're not talking about financially. Okay, we're also talking about a financial abundance. Okay, but we're also talking about health. We are also talking about happiness, real purpose. This is abundance, you know.
Wow.
Why? Because people are going to finally wake up from this crazy nightmare that we've been living in, and seems an endless nightmare. And that's why the partners have been telling us lately, there is a light in the end of the tunnel. Just hold on. There's a light, and Ratanabá is going to be that, because all these technologies will be able to use them with the population. We will be able to pass it on, this technology, to the population, because they are 3D technology, in the sense that they are physical, adapted to our density, even though they are the fruit, the result of technologies that are not from this world, but they are adapted here to this world. For instance, the 49, for instance, one of the ships, the spaceships of the 49, can we use it here for us? No, because the density is different. You see what I mean? So their technology can be employed here. And in various fields, various fields: health, energy, finance. I don't know how we'll be able to sort of to provide the tools so that we can have a real equality, you know, finance, in technology, in health, you know, in many aspects. So this is a threat to the powers that be, because they do not have our best interest at heart. They do not. If people think that governments, that all these international institutions are there to help us, they've been living in a fantasy, you know, in Disney World, because it doesn't exist. They are not. They are here to manipulate us, to control us. And all this information, all these technologies, all this that's coming out of Ratanabá, that's gonna come out of Ratanabá, you know, do not interest them.
So Dakila has been not only flying over, like part of the Ratanabá, but also on ground before, right?
Yes. Yes, we have done several expeditions. We have found various locations of Ratanabá. We have found a big rock, a book written on a rock. It's a huge rock with several writings. In these writings, we found blueprints to build several of the technologies that we are introducing now. And we are beginning to introduce them. We're going to do that through the Emirates, because this partnership we celebrated with the Emirates is going to allow us to introduce this technology, to patent it and manufacture them in the Emirates. Because there we already have their protection, if you will, you know, because these technologies will really pierce into many special interests. And if you do not have the proper protection in order to introduce them, it will be difficult. In Brazil, it will be very difficult now to do that. So we're going to introduce these technologies, some of them, through the Emirates.
You've mentioned the Biru
Yes,
trail,
the Biru, yes.
and that they are magnetic and they all converge in Ratanabá. Could you speak a little bit more about
Yes.
what you
The
found? With that?
Yes, the Biru trails. Well, Biru, it's a Guarani, Brazilian Guarani word. Okay. In Paraguayan Guarani, which is like it's a different dialect, but it's the same language. It's called Tapeviru. These are very old roads. We have many photographs of these roads. They all converge to Ratanabá, and they are a world wide web of roads. In other countries, they refer to this road as the ancient Indian trails, the ancient trail. Each place calls them differently. Here in South America, they call it Peabiru or Tapeviru. And we have found many of these trails in Brazil, in Paraguay, in Bolivia, in the Amazon, in the Andes, everywhere. I found parts of it in the United States a couple of years ago when I did a task with a Dakila group upstate New York. I found a piece of this road in Putnam County. So they are everywhere. And they are highly magnetic, if you will, because they follow what people call the ley lines, which is not the magnetic grid. Okay? And they are very interesting because they are places of very high vibrational frequency that facilitates many of our tasks, many of our training, and the interaction with the partners. Why? Because doing training in these places, you greatly accelerate your brain activity in a synchronized manner. And this is the key for everything. And it is the most important training in order to physically, face-to-face, converse with the partners. And here in our farm, in our headquarters in Dakila, there are Peabiru roads. They sort of, especially here in Brazil, we can find them in many, many places. Why? Because we're near Ratanabá, so we have plenty of these roads. The farther you are from Ratanabá, of course, there's less of these roads, or they are a little bit more difficult to identify. You can also find them under the sea. There are bridges. There are some of these roads that you can observe them with a Google Earth app, but you must have the Pro, the Google Earth Pro. You can identify these roads, especially in the Azores region near Europe. Once upon a time, you could walk from Brazil to Africa to Portugal. You could walk. Well, because the sea was lower, much lower. The sea level was much lower than today. And you could virtually walk around, in these roads, the bridges, it's very, very interesting. Very interesting. And you find them everywhere, all over the world.
Can you tell us a little bit about the star forts and their relation with the Ratanabá?
Yes, many people have been talking. It's funny because this subject has, sprung up, in the past, 3-4 years maybe. Many people talking about the star forts. They're everywhere. What are they? They are Tartarian forts and this and that. Well, as a matter of fact, the star forts are not forts. They were not really military in their nature. They were bases built in specific areas of the magnetic grid where the vibrational frequency was very, very high. And these places were always places in order to exchange information, technology. This is the original purpose of the star forts, not military in nature. Of course, in the past centuries, many people used to use it for different purposes, used to build on top of it other constructions, like the Príncipe da Beira star fort in the middle of the Amazon. It's the Portuguese, we'll build that. No, they did not. And but they of course added features there, but they were never military in their nature.
Are they all pointing to Ratanabá too?
Well, I wouldn't say that that they are all pointed to Ratanabá. Some, yes, because as I said, they were changed a little bit, by people, by various people. That is why not all of
Okay.
them do today, of course. We just discovered one very near here, Campo Grande, in a city near a city called Corumbá. There's
Really?
another star fort there, used by the Brazilian Navy. They said, no, it was the Portuguese, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Sure. And we're going to find more. Huh? There are a lot more of these star forts hidden, especially in the Amazon, in crazy remote locations in the Amazon, and those are intact.
Wow.
Philippe, I had another question about the Pibaru trails.
Yes.
And you mentioned that they could be old Indian trails. Is there any other way you could tell the people who might want to go out and search for these roads? What can they do to try and find them in your area?
It's a hard question, because, for instance, here in Brazil, since the partners have showed us a few of these Piabiru trails, we sort of know how they look like here because of the vegetation and the geology of Brazil. It's easy for us to identify, because since the partners showed us few of them, they sort of look like a little bit, because of the specific vegetation of Brazil. That's why also it was easy to locate them in Paraguay. Why? Also because we had help from the natives. You see, the Guarani tribes in Brazil and in Paraguay, especially in Paraguay, they have this very strong in their history, the Peabiru or Tapeaviru trails there. The interaction with a couple of deities of the Guarani mythology, supposed mythology. One is Tupã, a small guy, very active, used to speak very quickly, used to move around very quickly, and used to come in this ball of light that the Guaranis used to call apicá, and used to land in their tribes and pass on information. Those of us here that have interactions, have already had conversation with Bill, one of the partners, Bilu, you know who we're talking about. And he told us it was me that they were talking to. He confirmed that it was no mythology. It was a reality. It's an interaction of the 49 with the Guarani tribes. And another guy, taller guy, that the Guarani called Pai Sumé in Guarani. And later on, when the Jesuits started, indoctrinating the Guarani tribes, they used to say, no, 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 that's not who you're talking about. That's Saint Thomas, São Tomé, in San Tomé, in Spanish and Portuguese. And in fact, it was Rangstar, one of the persons that we talk to here. Is not from the 49 races, but he assists the 49 races. We had several conversations with him, and as a matter of fact, I showed once to you guys the video of him with the magnetoid technology, when the light comes out of his hand. Do you remember, Angela? When he opens his hand like this, you can see it in a light. That's him. That's Rangstar. And that he was known then among the Guarani as Pai Sumé. And he's known among esoteric ufology groups as Ashtar. I don't know if you heard about the Ashtar Command and Ashtar Shiran. He's the head of the Ashtar Command. It's not really like this, the real story, but It's rank star. As a matter of fact, we asked him, why people call you hashtag? And he said, because those that I spoke to didn't really understand, what I was saying, and they misunderstood my name. It was interesting that. And he was one of the Guarani deities that used to train them. The Guarani tribes, that they are very suspicious of the white people, very suspicious. Few took the time to do the proper research with them. As always, it was never someone from academia, never an anthropologist, a historian that got the story right. Why? Because, as I say to you guys all the time, these people are indoctrinated in the dogmas, in the narrative that the powers that be want to be the truth, So they can even fathom, oh no, this Guarani, they interact with the highly advanced being. No, this is mythology, all that same old that we hear. No, these are ceremonies, these are temples, these are, it's not that, it's not that. However, a very interesting journalist, Brazilian journalist, her name is Rosana Bond. She's from the south of Brazil. She took the time to study with the Guarani in the Santa Catarina state. It's a state in the south. Near her town of Palhoça, there was a Guarani tribe, and she took the time to befriend them, to learn the language, to learn the customs, to learn the mythologies. After 7 years, she earned the confidence of the elders, and they began telling her the real stories of Peabiru. She wrote 3 books. I have them. In Brazil, they are totally dismissed. Oh, this is nothing. She's not a historian. She's not an anthropologist. Well, Rosana Bond is a journalist, curious journalist, a journalist that learned Guarani, that learned about their culture, that took the time to befriend them, to get acquainted with them, to gain their trust, because they are very, very, they're very distrustful of white people, And she did an incredible work. She wrote these 3 books. I know that these 3 books are reference books about the Peabiru trails in Germany, in France, in Portugal, in England, abroad. They are valued as, highly, I would say there's absolutely no work such as hers. It doesn't exist. She did something unique, but in Brazil dismissed by academia, who are all in bed with these globalist groups and stuff like that in order to maintain. They are gatekeepers, They don't want anybody to know the truth. They want people still believe in the old fairy tales. And this book was a threat, very hard to find in Brazil, very hard to find. She wrote this book several years ago. I read them, and I went to inquire about the content of the books with the partners. And they even told me, but Philippe, you've been dealing with us for such a long time, you know so many things. Do we have to still answer what you're asking? Weren't you able to identify us in the book? To identify our MO, the way we train you guys, is sort of the way we train the Guarani. Can't you see it? And then I clicked. I was like, oh my God. It's because we're never sure of ourselves. We're like, oh my God, I have to confirm the information. We are trained since young that we don't know anything. We have to receive confirmation from a higher power. It's always like this. And I got scolded, by them. Trust your knowledge, trust your experience. It's exactly that. It is very unfortunate that Rosanna, I've been trying to contact her. She's kind of older. She's an older lady now, and her health is not very well. I wanted to do an interview with her because she's really incredible. Her 3 books are very precious, and they're very rare to find here in Brazil. But they really allow you to understand the importance of the Piabiru trails, or the ancient Indian trails, if you will. Now, going back to your question, Angela, I think that if you are able to, find information about, for instance, in the States, the ancient Indian trails, maybe you can begin to pinpoint, where the trails are in the United States. I know that there are plenty. I found a piece of it in Putnam County where we did tasks there, and it was very incredible. I'm sure they're all over there. It's good that you guys still have many natives. Now you have to gain their trust and ask them, where are your ancient sacred trails?
That's what I was thinking. Go to an elder, some
Yeah.
indigenous elder, and ask. And yesterday I started looking up because I want to find out where they are, around my area.
In your area, I'm sure there are plenty. I'm sure of it. Alabama, I think Tennessee, these places, they have plenty of them crossing, I'm sure, from east to west and also from south to north.
Ah, okay. Good to know. East to west, north,
And
south.
North, south, exactly.
Awesome. Well, can you tell us what kind of activities they would have been doing in Ratanabá?
It's hard to know because, first of all, I do not really like to speculate, and also the partners, they haven't really told us much about the activities in Ratanabá. They first wanted us to get there, to disclose. That's how they operate, They don't advance much. They want us to go look for it, do the research. Now they're gonna start to tell us more information about Ratanabá, because it's simply impossible, through research, to normal research, to discover what was all about Ratanabá 250 million years ago. It's impossible. So we're going to have their help concerning understanding of what was Ratanabá, how it operated, how the purpose to have a capital as huge as Ratanabá. I forgot to mention there are several step monuments, as we call the step pyramids. They are spread all over the Amazon. Some of them are huge. They are quantic machines. They have absolutely no spiritual, metaphysical connotations, as people say, the initiates used to go, and nothing of that. They were machines, okay? They were generators. They served many purposes. Angela, you've been here in the headquarters of Dakila. You trained inside a step pyramid. The training there it's a physical training. It has absolutely nothing to do with metaphysics or mystical things, nothing of that. The activation, the full activation of our pineal glands can only be achieved inside a step monument, inside a step pyramid, with its proper measurements, alignments, and materials. It will generate the correct frequencies that will not only activate fully our pineal gland, but also they will generate electricity, electric magnetic energies. They will generate a whole range of frequencies. And there are many of these step monuments in the Amazon that belong to the Ratanabá complex. And they were never shut down. They've been active since then. And there is an electromagnetic anomaly that is known as the South American electromagnetic anomaly that science cannot understand. And it's right above Brazil. Its center is right above Ratanabá. It's being generated, this anomaly is being produced by the effect of the step monuments of Ratanabá. That's the real reason. And this is one of the technologies that will mitigate the coming mini ice age in the Brazilian territory. Because of that, it's going to be mitigated. Its consequences here in our territory because of this technology, because of this huge anomaly, and it's growing. It's increasing. We don't know why yet, but it's being produced by the step monuments of Ratanabá. So, it's going to really shake the world, as Bilu says. Oh, we're going to shake the world. Well, we're beginning to shake the world.
Is that the anomaly that has in South America you're talking about, due to the pyramid that is right there above the headquarters in Dakila?
Also, we have a smaller pyramid, step monument, and we're building a bigger one. This bigger one is going to be right in the center. It's being built right in the center of this anomaly. There's a purpose for that. I'm not going to talk about it now, but there is a purpose. There is a reason.
Okay.
There is a reason. It's a very powerful place. As a matter of fact, according to the partners, within the Earth's electromagnetic grid, there is the most powerful place in the world.
Wow,
According to the partners, yes.
that's amazing.
That is why they instructed us to build ziggurats and Avalon there. That's why. That's the reason. That's the reason.
So with all the pyramids, the step pyramids in Ratanabá, you would think there would be some kind of training going on as far as activities in previous time, ancient times.
I dare to say that. I dare to say that it wouldn't really be a training, but it will be no longer a training. Okay, those that passed a certain training would be able to wield these technologies.
Would be able to what?
To wield these technologies, to manipulate these technologies,
Oh,
to
okay.
control these technologies,
Okay.
to use these technologies.
Just with their intention.
No, not only that. As a matter of fact, I think I showed you guys. Let me show you again. You guys have some of you have the wave frequency, remember? Remember, Angela, the wave frequency?
Yes, the little symbol that we were given.
That you
for
guys
essence.
got. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what happens? We manufacture a small artifact with the wave frequency. I will show you guys here so that you remember. Remember, this is mine. You see the symbol everywhere. I put them everywhere. This is my wave frequency. Okay? This is the physical, the graphic expression, or if you will, the graphic representation of my unique vibrational frequency, okay? Now, this artifact with my unique vibrational signature will be able to allow me to operate certain artifacts in Ratanabá. The artifacts in Ratanabá can only be operated, used by the dimensionals with their wave frequency. There's no other way.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's amazing. So even if Elon Musk, finds Ratanabá for some miracle, digs out the Ratanabá, he won't be able to utilize the technology there. Because even if it's a dimensional, we don't know, he could be one, but he doesn't have this little artifact. He doesn't have his wave frequency and the little artifact. So he doesn't have the key. Like the modern vehicles, they have those keys, right? The keyless start, right? The key, you put it in your pocket, and you just press the start in your car. It's more or less the same thing, the same concept. The wave frequency you put in my pocket, and then with that I can operate several artifacts there in Ratanabá. Which are they? I don't know. Partners don't tell us. They just tell us that they are highly advanced technologies there, artifacts that will amaze the world, that will allow us to do incredible things. These incredible things always with the purpose of providing comfort, protection to the population. This is the intent of all that, to help concretely free the population, from this invisible prison that we live in. This is the purpose. It's not for anything else. That's why the partners never trusted any government, any institution, with this knowledge. Never. That's why they trained our President, Orange Oliveira, when he was young, to prepare a group of persons that will be able to speak directly to them, to be trained by them directly, so that these people forming an association and or an institution like Dakila, that's why, hence Dakila, so that we could do this, and really concretely help the population. This is the main thing.
And I think that the discovery of Ratanabá showing to the world, they're just gonna be the beginning of people realizing how that, right?
I think it's going to be the beginning, the middle, and the end of all this, because it's going to shock so much the population. The immense technological riches there are going to be, the impact is going to be so great that it's going to be a decisive moment for humanity. This is all for humanity. This is all for that. And the Brazilians, they must be aware of this.
Yeah.
They must know this reality.
When they're gonna know about Ratanabá? When?
It's all over here already. The buzz is beginning to increase, But in the sense that you, as a Brazilian, can very well appreciate what I'm going to say. We have been trained, we have been indoctrinated in Brazil always to value what's abroad.
Yes.
Brazil is it's nothing. Brazil is this. Brazil is poor. Brazil is underdeveloped. We're always trained to value what's in Europe, what's in the States, what's in Canada, Japan, the first world. And now we have to realize that this is a scam, so that the globalist pawns could corrupt us and steal from us. That's what they've been doing. They've been trying to reach Ratanabá for all these years. I think I talked about this before. They are planning an invasion of the Amazon for 2025. They are planning that. That's why all this BS narrative of, they're destroying the Amazon, they are setting fire in the Amazon. We have to help the indigenous people that they are being killed systematically by the genocidal President Bolsonaro. This is all BS. They are constructing, fabricating a narrative so that the world population would morally accept a military invasion of the Amazon. That's what they're doing. They are manufacturing that. That's why the partners are sort of telling us to speed things with the discoveries of Ratanabá so that we can disarm their plot, even though I think that they're going to try to pull this one. I think so. But partners are instructing us to sort of speed up things and to disclose it as fast as we can about this situation of Ratanabá, about what's going on here. I think within 20 days, 25 days, we're going to have the LIDAR data, all the images, and then, we're going to have a great time with that. And we are going to organize a couple of expeditions, quick expeditions, ground expeditions, to document all these findings. We are planning to make documentaries, short films about it, and spread all over. I think I'm going to have a lot of information to impart in November in the conference. It's going to be really, really interesting. It's going to really shock people because people are expecting, oh my God, he's going to come and talk about the loving, beautiful ETs that come to save us, and they're going to see a completely different story there with the images and everything. So I can't wait to see their faces, really. Can't wait.